Hi, I'm Barbara Calvi, licensed marriage and family therapist, and I want to welcome you to the Couples Corner. Today is part 3 in my 5-part series on the healthy stages of relationship development as developed and copyrighted by Ellen Bader and Peter Pearson at the Couples Institute in Menlo Park, California. So we're talking about stage 3 today, the practicing stage. Stage 1 was the symbiotic stage, building a strong foundation, a sense of togetherness and we-ness and a strong bond. Stage 2 was learning how to negotiate the natural, normal differences and conflicts that come up in a relationship and how to support your partner even when their differences, their wants and their needs are things that you don't necessarily agree with, or they do things in ways that you don't necessarily do. So when those two stages ideally are done well, ongoing, then couples enter stage 3, and that's the practicing stage. This is the stage where now that the strong foundation has been built, it's safe, strong foundation, it's safe, they know they can tolerate and handle and have the skills to deal with conflict that arise because of the differences. It feels safe now to withdraw a little bit of energy from the relationship and turn a little bit more energy inward. This is a time where members of a couple might really ratchet up their interest in their activity in their career. They might go back to school. They might spend more time with friends and family outside of the relationship. They might find new hobbies that they really love and spend time doing that. What's great about this stage is when this is going on, as people, we go out into the world, do some things that really interest and excite us. We might, it helps develop even more of a sense of self-esteem, a more sense of feeling energized, and we bring all that back into our relationship. And that is like golden. That is great when then the relationship gets revitalized through the natural process of being in the relationship and turning some focus out, and then bringing that energy back in. So this is a great time in a relationship. Here is the tricky part and the challenge for this task. Sometimes in a relationship, not both partners are going to get to this place at the same time. So one partner feels like they're ready. They feel like, oh, this feels good and solid. I can go out into the world now and a little bit more, do some interesting things and exciting things. And the partner can end up feeling really threatened. It feels like they're threatened, the relationship is threatened, insecurities can come up. And what can often happen is they'll really exert this pull on trying to get their partner back into the togetherness and the we-ness. This is especially challenging when sometimes couples skip stage 2 altogether and they never really develop those skills to manage their conflict productively and support each other even when there are differences and being okay with the differences. So in those cases, sometimes the practicing partner even goes out more into the world than they otherwise would have because there's all this tension and their conflict and their partner's trying to pull them back in. And so just to avoid all of that unpleasantness, because again, they skipped stage 2 and didn't really develop the skills to deal with the conflict, they spend more time out in the world. And this is actually the stage where most affairs tend to happen. Affairs can happen at any point in a relationship, but this is where couples are most vulnerable when this kind of dynamic is going on. Sometimes you'll find that members of a couple will meet when they're very much involved in their own individual pursuits. And so they kind of start their relationship in the practicing stage and they've skipped the first 2 stages. Often these couples can go along fine for a very long time. Eventually what can happen is one or both members will say, hey, you know what, it feels like something is missing. And that's what will bring them back into therapy, and then the challenge is let's go back and go through those stages that were skipped. So, and sometimes people, will avoid stage 1 or stage 2. They kind of revolve their lives or build their lives around being very independent and having a lot of individual pursuits actually is a way to avoid the closeness, because there's this fear of being engulfed or being smothered. They'll lose themselves in the relationship. So again, if both members of the couple get to a point where, oh, something is really missing, or sometimes these couples will come in because they've had children and there's an issue with the child that brings them into therapy, then they need to be able to come back and work on the first two stages. So that's stage 3, the practicing stage. Couples taking some energy from the relationship, investing in themselves, and going out into the world. And I want to invite you back next week for stage 4, part 4 of the series, stage 4, the rapprochement stage, its challenges, its benefits, and the tasks that were required to negotiate that stage. And until then, take good care. Bye-bye.